20 years after the end of the war, the North was showing its age. Little had altered in generations, but huge changes were in the air. These were to be the last images of an unremarkable mining area 6 miles from Newcastle before its transformation.
Washington looked in 1964 exactly like it had looked all of my life from 1945, and what I can remember, there were 4 or 5 settlements. The coal mines were still operating, the ironworks were still operating, the chemical works were still operating, and all of these various settlements were linked by the A182, which was the main road right through this part of the northeast, and lots of green fields.
As work started on Washington's metamorphosis, a young planner joined the Development Corporation. Ian Self had been born there. He'd been to school there. Now he was to be one of the team to oversee the building of a new town amid County Durham's green acres.
It was probably the most exciting element of my whole working life. I think very few people can go through life and see the effect that whatever they have done is there for all to see. A lot of it is good in the eyes of some. Beauty is always in the eyes of the beholder. Everyone that I worked with all consider, without question, that it was the most exciting times that they ever worked, and we worked very hard together, and we built things that were actually made to happen. When the government's money was there was no hindrance. Once the money was there, get on and do the job.
Washington is not only a place to live, it's a place to work. Without new industry, Washington could never have sprung to life.
To attract industry, the corporation commissioned films to paint a rosy picture of the new town. But Washington also had a unique selling point as the ancestral home of America's first president.
The Development Corporation employed people to actually go around the world to actually get industries to come to this country. The RCAs, it was a perfect example. We had very close links with America. I can recall President Carter, for example, coming to Washington. I think there were very close links with the American Embassy in terms of bringing jobs into this area. And the only way of doing it in those days were by films, by taking something and saying, this is what you're going to get. This is what we've got to offer. The films were the only tools they had to sell the area other than the word of mouth. The computers, internet wasn't available then.
There are 9 industrial estates, mostly named after great engineers or scientists. On them, more than 60 companies are established in the town. One is even producing a new sports car.
Yeah, the Clan Crusader was a car which was manufactured in Washington in the early days. It was an amalgam of lots of parts from lots of different cars, Fords and Morrises and the likes, built, and then this fiberglass body fixed to it. It was very small and very, very low to the ground, and one or two colleagues at the Development Corporation had them. It didn't last very long. Somebody saw an opportunity of getting grants and having the opportunity of building something which was probably his lifelong ambition, and it financially it just didn't work out, so it didn't last very long.